This conference will now be recorded.
Thank you. I'd like to call the September 1st, 2020 caucus meeting to order. Present are council members Williamson, Schuman, Heeman, Kelly, Limpert, Glassburn, the Human Resources Director, Law Director, Finance Director, Planning and Development Director, and our Clerk of Council. First on tonight's agenda, are there any additions or corrections to the caucus meeting minutes of August 18th, 2020? Seeing none. On tonight's agenda, we do not have any legislation to be considered for suspension of the rules. On first reading, ordinance 2020-98 and 2020-99 will both go into BZD, and ordinance 2020-100 will go into streets and transportation. And just a reminder, as we look to next Tuesday, September 8th, for our committee meeting nights, that we do have a public hearing scheduled for September 8th at 7 p.m. to discuss ordinances 2020-78 and 2020-79. The link to this public hearing for our public is on the calendar on the city website. And so, Councilwoman Williamson, if we're looking to schedule committee meetings for next Tuesday, the 8th, I'm estimating that public hearing will take approximately 10 minutes.
Then we can schedule the BZD committee meeting at 7:10.
Perfect. Okay. All right, and then Councilman Limpert for Streets and Transportation.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. We'll go at 7:20. Ms. Williamson, about 10 minutes, you thought? So 7:20?
Madam President?
Yes, Director Lieber.
We have invited our zoning consultant to make a presentation to council during either your public hearing or council committee time to go review the changes. And given the fact that they're fairly extensive, I would recommend a larger window of time for the committee meeting.
Director, how long do we anticipate that presentation at a minimum?
A minimum, probably 20 minutes, but if there's questions of the consultant, and there has been interest by the business community and our Planning and Design Commission process, so I think a minimum committee meeting of a half hour, if not longer.
Madam President, is this presentation something that should be done at the council meeting or within the scope of the committee itself?
So it could go either way. We actually, Councilwoman Williamson, why don't we just have the presentation done at the public hearing? Then if there are questions from the public regarding the project, they could ask those questions then. And then when we roll into your committee meeting, council members could then ask their questions in that format, if you're comfortable with that. Okay, so then we'll move the start of your committee meeting to 7:30.
Why don't we go with maybe even 7:20, because we don't exactly know how long, and then this way if we run over, we're still okay.
Yes, okay. Thank you. And so then Councilman Limpert, when do you feel comfortable starting the Streets and Transportation Committee meeting?
Well, why don't we shoot for 7:30? I guess the only caveat would be I would ask that the mayor attend or his designee, and I'm not sure if he's going to have to ask the police chief or somebody like that. So I wouldn't want him, waiting around if this meetings go long. But I'm guessing 7:30 is what we should target.
Yes.
Does that timeline make sense to you?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right. And just a reminder, council members as well, to let our clerk know if you have any interest in attending an informational meeting about the agenda management software that we had discussed at our committee of the whole meeting last week. If you could just give Clerk Massarolo a heads up that you're interested in attending that so that he can get that on everyone's schedule. And that is it for the agenda tonight. Oh, I'm sorry, Clerk Massarolo, yes. Clerk,
Sorry. We also need to schedule a public hearing for 2020, I believe 77. That's going to need to be sometime in October.
11:32, right? So thank you. Yes, and we do need to do that this evening if we could get that on the agenda. Councilwoman Williamson, again, another BZD item, ordinance 2020-77. We're looking at possibly October 13th, 1-3, for that meeting. Does that work for you and your committee?
Yes, it does.
Okay, great. We'll schedule that then if you're in agreement, 7 p.m. for the 13th.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. Council members, anything for us? Councilwoman Heeman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to update everyone, please, with regard to the face mask, resident face mask program, because there has actually been generated quite a bit of interest, it turns out, which I'm proud to say. So in contacting Joanne Fabrics, or Joanne as their corporate name is, we have had a great degree of interest from several members of their executive team to participate. They are still going to assist us with the distribution. They have requested that their public relations department become involved with the program, to the extent that, of course, we are assisting a North Olmsted retailer. We're partnering also not just with them, but then with the schools, and then also any other residents that may not be serviced by the senior center, which it turns out is a very good program. And so they would like to participate in that. The school district has also offered every level of assistance that they can, including staffing at the distribution points. They have asked also that their public relations department be involved as well. They have provided me already with the information that we need to move forward with making a distribution plan, which as soon as I get that organized with a few other folks, and the folks at Joanne and the school PTUs and principals, etc., we will be rolling. I will be contacting all of council, and you may participate as you wish in any of the distribution dates or times. The expectation is that there will be a minimum of 4 distribution dates and times, possibly as many as 7, because of course there has to be an evening or a weekend. With that in mind, what I'd like to tell everyone is that Mr. Massarolo was really good at securing masks for us, and some were on sale at $1.99. So of course that let us have more than we expected. So our total number right now to distribute is approximately 4,500, 42 to 4,500. Was that correct, Mr. Massarolo? Yes. And that is an adult and children's mixture of sizes. And so what I'd like to ask for now is for the ability for Mr. Mazzarolo to put in place a second purchase order in an amount not to exceed $8,000, but however, to only be implemented at $1,000 to $2,000 increments only after we start to see that maybe we've gotten through 2 days of distribution and we might be running out and would need additional inventory for the project. None of it would be used or spent, no further orders unless it looks like midstream, we wouldn't make it through the entire distribution the whole week. We would hate to turn people away if the need turned out to be very great in the first 2 to 3 days of the project. So at best, it might be a minimal purchase. And again, in a $1,000 increment, it would be, I think, sufficient to guarantee, full success through all of the distribution dates and times. So I'm hoping that there isn't an objection to that small request, but certainly if anyone does have an objection, you're free to state that.
Sounds reasonable. Council members, any comments? Councilman Lippert.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. So it sounds like we got double what the masks we were kind of originally talking about last caucus meeting.
Well, a little more than that, because it was a buy one, get one, but because some were on sale, we made those on sale part of our choice to be able to then, yes, get more. So we got about 500 more than we expected to get. And whatever is on sale, that's kind of where we go with the purchase first, because it just makes the most sense. I mean, we're not interested in spending high dollars. We're interested in providing personal protection equipment to residents.
So Madam President, so how much are we approving in $1,000 increments right now? Like up to what number of masks?
It would only go up to $1,000, per purchase if we needed even 1 or 2 more. I can't imagine we're going to need more than that, Mr. Lippert. So that would, depending on their cost, but originally they were $3.99 a mask. Of course, we will purchase, those that are on sale if we can. Some will still have to be $3.99 because those are the children's sizes. So it's actually just to make sure that we don't run out. That's all. And I would have Mr. Mazzarolo circulate to all of council as we move through what our statistic is and whether it looks like he would be invoking even a $1,000 purchase. So there's no risk really in that there's an overspend. We don't have an interest in that.
Thank you. Any other comments from council? Director Kopfer.
There's never a risk of overspending when Chuck is involved.
I know.
He's my hero. So
listen, we got the 500 more, right?
But I did want. I mean, we can work it out. We'll follow the finance process of additional POs on the same PO to keep it simple. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, and I appreciate everyone's cooperation. And as soon as you see the distribution schedule, I mean, if there's a particular day that you could not go to one of the events, please let Chuck know immediately, because the idea, of course, is this is a council project of sorts, and I would hope that all of council would participate in that. I think it'll be good. It's got a lot of interest. Thank you, Council President.
Okay, thank you. All right, with that, we will conclude our caucus at 8 p.m.